So I never really do videos like this, but I thought, what the hell. I've gotten a lot of people ask about my old house. Since yesterday I was talking about how it's haunted. And everybody's just like, well, was that a big inspiration for Gwendy and Ghost? And I'm just like, well, yeah, but they wanted me to share some of my ghost stories. So I'm gonna share them. First one I remember, I'm not sure how old I was, maybe 8. And I slept in the living room with my grandma. Like, we had a bed in the living room, it was like a bunk bed. And we kind of could get like a good look, like to the dining, like through the dining room, through the kitchen. And one night I remember looking into the dining room and I saw like a figure of a man, but he was like his torso was cut and he was halfway through the floor and he was kind of bald and had glasses and he was just sticking through the floor. And I remember being like, this isn't normal. And I remember he just kept getting closer and closer, just kind of like that through the floor. And I was like, no, I got and I didn't know what to do. So I woke up my grandma and I didn't tell her what I saw, but I was like, can I trade spots with you? Because I was looking like right toward the dining room, and she's like, yeah, sure. So we just flipped spots on the bed, and I was like staring at the wall and like covering up. I was just like, mm-mm. But what really scared me was like a few weeks later, my younger sister, she said she saw a bald man with glasses in the dining room halfway through the floor. And I'm just like, oh shit. And then after we described him for a while, my grandma pulled up a photo album and she showed me this picture of her, I think it was her grandpa, my grandma's grandpa. And we saw the picture, and Sid and I, my sister Sid, her and I were just like, that's the guy. And my grandma was just like, well, that's really strange because he died in the dining room. Yeah, that was scary. Actually, I'm gonna take a step back because I think the first kind of paranormal experience I've had, I was actually a baby. And I can remember this. It's really weird that I can remember this, but if you've read my comic Gwendy Ghost, you'll know that there's a mannequin in the story, and her name's Hayden. Well, Hayden's been around since I was like first born. I think my family got her from like a fashion bug that closed down like in the late 80s. So I was born in 91, so she was there before I was even born. But I have this like vivid memory of Hayden. Like, I was in a crib. I remember looking up like from my crib, you know, and I was crying and nobody was in the room, and I just kept crying. I don't know why I was crying. Shit myself, I don't know. I was hungry. But I remember the mannequin, Hayden, peering down into my crib, looking at me and telling me to like shh, like just shushing me. And I remember her picking me up, rocking me a bit, and then putting me back in the crib. And back then Hayden had a wig that was kind of like a straight bob, but it was like short black hair, straight bob, and had like those round like hippie glasses. But I clearly remember a woman having that hair and those glasses on, picking me up, rocking me, and putting me back to sleep. But then I tell my family this, and they're like, "You're on crack, Sierra. Shut up." I'm like, it's what I remember. Who knows? Now, the one that probably kind of scares me the most, I don't want to say like it scares me, but it's just, it's the strangest one. My great-grandma lived on the first floor. Like, our house was 3 stories, and most of us stayed on the second floor, but my great-grandma lived on the first floor. And, you know, she'd always yell our names if she needed something. And so this one's the strangest because I didn't only hear it, but my grandma did. Not my great-grandma, my grandma. Because, again, my grandma and I shared beds, I guess, growing up. She really didn't have her own room, so she slept in mine. But it was the bunk bed. I was on the top bunk. My grandma was on the bottom. And I say it's about 1 to 2 in the morning. I don't remember. But my grandma's name is Judy. And we both hear my great-grandma, her mom, just go like, "Judy! Judy! Judy!" Just like that. And I woke up and I was just like, Grandma Judy, Gigi is calling for you. And Gigi's what we called her, like Gigi, great-grandma, you know. And she rolled awake and was like, I know, I heard her. I'll go down. And so she gets up, and I hear her walk out of my room, and I hear her open the door to go downstairs. And I hear her shut the door, like, just a few moments afterward. And she comes back in my bedroom, and I realized that something was up, because I sat up, and her and I, like, looked at each other, and, like, didn't say anything. And she was just like, Sierra, just go back to bed. And so we did. Because what was scary about that is that my great-grandma had died about 2 months before that happened. So it was like we both heard my great-grandma like call for my grandma's name. And still, like, my grandma and I talk about it to this day, and we're just like, oh, what an experience. Pretty cool. But I think those are the 3 ones that I remember most at the top of my head right now. I know there's been many more, like, spooky instances, but I can't recall any, so I'll just leave it at those 3. But I might make more videos like this sometime. I'm not sure. I'm not used to making videos like this. But, yeah, if any of you have any spooky stories, tell me, because I love that stuff. I love ghost stories. But yeah, take care and don't get too spooked.